one of us could probably go around and tell a version of a dysfunctional family story. We all have one, because in one way or another, every family is fractured. Maybe your family lives with constant tension. You don't slam doors and yell, but you constantly feel anxiety. You feel it when your parents talk about money or their jobs, and it makes your house feel like a pretty stressful place to live. For some of you, maybe you've discovered that your family lives with secrets. You never really saw it when you were younger, but now you know. Maybe you've discovered some things that you wish you never did. And now, because of those secrets, you wonder if you can fully trust your family. And for a lot of you, your family has experienced a fracture of some sort. Maybe it was divorce between your parents. There's no new normal with your family. And now you wonder if family relationships are really worth the effort when they can possibly just go away. Regardless of your family story, it's important to remember that every family is fractured. There's no pain like family pain. I think all of us know deep down that family should be better. It should be happier and more forgiving. In our minds, most of us have an ideal family. It's the one we wish we had, but we don't have an ideal family. We have a real family. And the distance between our ideal family and our real family can cause us a lot of pain. And that's typically when we respond in one of two ways. We either count our family out or we count ourselves out. Maybe you count your family out because after your parents divorced, you thought they lost authority in your life, so you stopped respecting them. You decided that your stepmom isn't a good role model, so you're not going to listen to her. Or you decided to shut out one of your siblings because of something they did. Whatever the reason, we use our family members' mistakes as reasons or an excuse to not listen to them or include them in our lives. We say things like, I don't have to listen, or be in a relationship with you because of what you did or what you didn't do. Or we count ourselves out. Maybe we don't say it out loud, but we give up on our families. We isolate ourselves. We stay in our rooms when we're home. We think, I'm done with my dad not showing up. I'm done with my mom nagging me. My family feels like a bunch of hypocrites. I'm just so done. I'm gonna count the days until I'm out of here and I never have to come back. All of us probably have felt the pull of wanting to pull away from our family. And we probably know it's not the best idea, but what's the alternative? What else are we supposed to do? Shouldn't our parents be the ones trying to fix this and not us? What if I told you that there's one idea you may have never considered that could change the way you see your family forever? That's what we're going to be talking about here today. And here's the good news. God has a long history of working with dysfunctional families. There are a lot of them recorded in the Bible, and God has never written anybody off because of the family that they came from. One of the most famous people in the Bible is a man named Abraham. God promised Abraham and his family that they would form a great nation, and eventually a savior named Jesus would come from that family line. But before a great nation was formed, Abraham had to have a kid. He had a son named Isaac, and then Isaac eventually had two sons. They were twins, Esau and Jacob. And so the family drama began. Jacob and Esau couldn't have been more different. Esau, the older brother, he was a hunter and a warrior, a man of action. Jacob, on the other hand, was more of an artist. He was a thinker and a poet. He was also a bit of a liar and a con artist. And so the stage was set for some good old family tension. And as the oldest brother Esau was granted to inherit the birthright, according to the customs of the time, he would receive a special privilege that other children wouldn't get. He would receive double the amount of money. He would become a leader of the entire family tribe when his dad passed away, and maybe the biggest deal of all, he would get the blessing from his father, which also meant that he would be blessed by God. So needless to say, birthrights were a big deal. And one day Esau was out hunting, and when he came home, he was so hungry. It's that moment when you're ready to crush an entire large pizza by yourself after school. That's how he felt. He comes home and he smells Jacob's cooking. He's asking his little bro for a bowl of stew. And that's when things go sideways. Pretty much, little brother tricks older brother out of his birthrights for some food. This is classic older sibling, younger sibling drama. Fast forward to when their dad Isaac was dying, Jacob did, in fact, get the birthright blessing that was meant for Esau. In response, Esau was so bitter and angry that he decided his only course of action would be to kill his brother. When Jacob learned this, he ran away from home with no plans to come back. This is family drama at the next level. Despite all of that, don't miss this. Jesus came from this family. God knew their mess and saw how fractured they were. But he didn't run away from them. He used them anyway. There's no family story that can't be rewritten. There's no family situation that God can't ultimately use for good, incredible purposes. From God's perspective, there's no family you can count out, and there's no person in a family you can count out. God is never done working. The story of Jacob and Esau tells us that even in the worst family moments, our family story isn't over. If we can't see it right now, we can trust that God has a plan. Everybody who lives at your house is a fractured person. But when they mess up, don't write them off and treat them like that's the end of their story. Because God is always working, even when it doesn't look like it. So don't count them out, and don't count yourself out. You don't know what's going to happen next, so don't check out just yet. And if you count yourself out, you may miss out on being a part of an incredible story that God is writing in your family. Redeeming and fixing things that are broken is what God does best. He takes dysfunction and uses it for good. Because even though a broken family is never God's plan, taking broken things and pulling good out of them is what God specializes in. So, take heart and have faith in what God can do. What if we all went home today and treated our family like it mattered, even though it was broken? What if we started believing that God could work even in our biggest dysfunctions? Remember, God hasn't given up on your family, so you don't have to either.